work out and you're gonna not run out of road. So here, throttle.
I think he's saying that from experience. I mean, he is saying that from experience, but I love that that's sort of the mindset behind it. It's like if you miss one little portion of that corner, you're screwed. What is going on, guys? It is JJ here, back with a new video, and today we are going to take a look at how to master the Silverstone F1 track. Now, obviously, this is a video from NICO ROSBERG, one of the best Mercedes drivers that there was out there, and I think one of the more interesting videos, seeing as in the season Lewis Hamilton ended up losing the F1 Drivers' Championship to NICO ROSBERG. It was the season that he found a way to dominantly win that 2016 Silverstone GP. So I'm gonna enjoy NICO ROSBERG. I'm guessing allude and elaborate on that. The guy is still an amazing driver. I say this every time we watch one of his videos or react to one of the NICO ROSBERG videos. I don't get why he still isn't in F1. I think he would have something to give to the sport. But okay, that's just me. We're gonna take a look at how to master Silverstone from the perspective of the one and only NICO ROSBERG. Let me know your guys' thoughts. This will drop on qualifying day, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be very interesting. Let's get into the video. As well, guys, you can obviously find the original video on the NICO ROSBERG YouTube channel. Original videos in the description below.
I'm taking you through the stuff which will help in the real car. If you have the differential open, it's going to be easy for the car to do that hairpin.
I need the F1 game back, guys. We will have that on this channel. We will have it on the channel sooner than later. Sooner rather than later. Sorry, let me rephrase that.
Welcome back to my F1 Fridays series where I analyze the upcoming racetrack, and this week it's of course the legendary Silverstone. And because the feedback was so incredible for the last analysis that I did for Hungary, I'm going to be doing this now for every single upcoming racetrack on the F1 calendar. So I hope you'll join in for all of those. First up is going to be the in-depth slow lap, where I'm going to take you through every single detail.
This is elevator music? This is elevator music, isn't it?
Silverstone track. After that is going to be the super fast hot lap, and then we're going to end, as usual, with the Q&A. Remember, I'm doing these track analysis for my project fundraise to support people who are suffering in this time of Corona, so please hit the link below now.
Really? That is... he does always have charitable causes like this in his videos. He doesn't need the money. But it's really sick to see him do that. Big up NICO ROSBERG.
My raffle, as you know, you can win my high-performance electric motorbike. Just for you, the promo code to get double as many tickets for my raffle is DOUBLE. So put in DOUBLE in the link below and you get twice as many tickets. Another way to get a chance to win it is by having the top trending comment below on this video. Last week's top comment was by Anish, and he said that for him, Lando Norris by far has impressed him the most. I do agree that Lando has been super impressive, and he's going to be, you know, a great hopeful for the future. He's right up there, one of those guys.
I hope he becomes the future
Anish
now.
For the 100 entries to my raffle. So this week, again, try to comment below. And the question that I want to ask you, and you need to comment on to be able to win the tickets, is what's your favorite F1 memory of all time, and why?
The first ever race I watched, the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Was it Abu Dhabi? I think it was. Yeah, it was Abu Dhabi. Yeah, Max and Lewis's battles, which I had no clue what was happening. I just knew it was those two for the title.
And important, of course, is the run out to start the lap. So we take it easy and then straighten up the car and go as early as power, so we get more exit speed than usual. Okay. So now coming here, you might think, oh, it's easy. It's just easy flat, these two things. Yeah, but they're not.
This turn is never good for anyone.
You need to be so smooth with the steering wheel, because every little input that you do, which is unnecessary, just scrubs speed of the car. So smooth on the steering wheel. And important here, it has to be flat, of course, but at the same time, you have to make sure to get as far left as possible before you get to the braking, so that you don't brake whilst you're still steering. You know, you want to be braking straight, and as much as possible, you want to be like that here, because that way, you have a lesser radius to go around the corner, because if you're braking whilst you're still going that way, your radius eventually is going to be tighter, so that's not good. So get the car straight here, brake sometime when the curb starts there, that's the braking point, and then you downshift into fourth gear here, eventually third gear, carry as much speed.
This is what I'm talking about. Every time we watch these videos, he kind of speaks too fast for me. I think I speak fast. The man just absolutely blasts through it all, and it's so sick.
Into the corner, it's very long, the entry. You're carrying much speed into the corner. Take the curb here if you want. Now here again, it's very difficult because it's a horrible exit here, because you have to get all as far as possible to the right as possible again in order to get the next one great, because the next one, the exit is so important because it's a long straight. So about here, you're never going to get further than that. So you go about here. At this point also now the tires are like super hot, because you had 2 flat out corners, you had 1 big braking, you had a long slow corner. So by this time now the tires are like raging hot, so you'll have a lot of everything, a lot of oversteer in the braking, a lot of understeer eventually. So you got to be just careful and take it easy in braking here. And then
so you just got to have a tight turn there.
Hit the apex there as much as you want, and then the run out, you can take the curb on the run out there like that, and then accelerate out. Again, steering wheel smooth, and hit the DRS right on the line, of course, as soon as possible. Taking the speed here. Now, preparing for this next one. This one here always has huge understeer. Why, I don't know, but it's a really long corner, and it just always has a huge understeer. So what you do here, again, I'm taking you through the stuff which will help in the real car, not necessarily so much in the game. So I'm focusing on the real car. This corner always has a...
I think I love that he has to actually say that. Like, he has to say, hey, it's not going to happen in the game. So, you know, don't try to make it realistic in the game. But
because it's a very, very long entry. The front starts to overheat, and you just get a lot of understeer through this corner. So you have to adapt the car to that. So what you do is, you first of all go rearwards on the brake balance 1 step. That will release some workload off the front tires, put more workload on the rear, so that will help with the understeer. Second thing that you can do is you can open the differential a little bit, so that when you start to turn in, the diff is open, and that allows you to turn in more easily. The differential, as you know, controls the difference in rear wheel speed. And if you now imagine that you're going into a hairpin, the inside rear wheel will be going very, very slowly, because it has like hardly any road to travel. Whereas the outside of the car will go massively fast because it has like much further to go. So there's going to be a huge difference in rear wheel speed. If you have the differential open, it's going to be easy for the car to do that hairpin. If you have the differential completely locked, it's going to be almost impossible for the car to go round because both rear wheels have to be...
He's saying a lot of things. I'm trying to understand. Don't hate me for it. All right.
At the same speed, the car will force that, so it's like almost impossible for you to turn the corner. And so in this corner, you want to open it up and allow the car to turn, and that will help with the understeer. The downside often of that is that you'll get a really big snap on the entry and a really loose rear on the entry, but this corner, that's not a problem, so you do that. This corner here is 5th gear. Again, you start on the right, don't take the curb there because it unsettles the car, and it's a very wide entry, so the apex is really late. So you take it wide here, and it's really late because, again, you need to cut back over to the left for the next corner. So the next corner is important. So 5th gear, cutting in here, you can take a lot of the curb all the way up to the red sausage curb here. And then here, the fastest way is probably to run almost all the way to the curb there. Maybe you can even run there. But still, you have to try and get back a little bit to position yourself for the next one, because again, it's such a long corner. And then you downshift into 3rd gear. This is super difficult because you have to try and run really deep. So don't just hit the brakes full on and stop the car, because then, I mean, the corner just goes on forever. So really smooth on the brakes and run really deep. Carry as much speed as you can. Open up in the middle. Go out as far as you can, like to the middle of the track. Beyond that, it starts to get dirty, so you can't go beyond that, but go to the middle of the track. And then here is your minimum apex speed, so it's really late. And then you rotate the car, so even though it's a long corner, you still make like a V out of it. And then you rotate the car in here as soon as you can on the throttle, and it's so early, like it's much earlier than you think. Flat out on the throttle. It's not a problem if you miss the apex here on the inside. It's not too sensitive to that. Of course, it is best if you are close to the apex, not too sensitive. So you can be somewhere here, and then flat out on the throttle,
and then bam.
You gotta kind of pray, like, okay, I'm so early on throttle. If eventually I'm forced to lift off because I'm running out of road, you're gonna lose so much lap time. So you kind of have to pray and just hope that it's gonna work out and you're gonna not run out of road. So here, throttle.
I think he's saying that from experience. I mean, he is saying that from experience, but I love that. That's sort of the mindset behind it. It's like if you miss one little portion of that corner, you're screwed.
To the sand to use, you know. But if you obviously go to the sand, then it's game over. So
isn't that what Lance Stroll went off? That's where Lance Stroll went off.
There's a little bit of guesswork that has to be done there. Accelerate again, very smooth on the steering wheel here, not to scrub off any unnecessary speed. I'm really, really careful. And now we come to Cops, which in my time was never flat, but apparently last year for Valtteri, it was flat. So you have to stay as far left as possible, and then it's just one quick flick into the corner, and flat out. Flat out, 8th gear. And but there's no room for error, huh? Like you have to nail it. You just touch the curb on the inside there, and then run out. Again, the exit is very difficult to visualize because it kind of tightens. and you can't run off further than the curb. Now for this next section, you can also do another setup change, and you can increase your engine braking. Your engine braking is kind of like a handbrake. In the middle of the next corner, further down the road, you're always going to have quite a lot of understeer. It's quite a fast corner, it's like 5th gear, but for a short while you're off throttle. In the periods where you're off throttle and off the brakes, engine braking decides how much braking is still left on the rear tires. If you have full engine braking, it's like there's still a handbrake on, and if you have no engine braking at all, then you're just gliding along. So there's still a big role to play there. And for the next one, where you're going to be rolling into the corner, a lot of engine braking can really help in that split second of a moment, mid-corner, to get that car turned and to get you early on the throttle fast. So here for the next corner, up on the engine braking. Let's continue on, 8th gear. Now comes, you know, a beautiful section, one of the best sections in Formula 1. Again, keep on the right, so as to dive back and stay and hug the left-hand side here, because one corner flows into the next, so it's always best to still be
it's just like a little river, like a little...
So here you're a little bit positioned to the left, and then diving into the right, here you can take all the curb, all the way to the red sausage curbs. Again, try and stay, it's still flat, you're still flat, and try and stay as far left as possible, so you're really trying to put the car to the right as much as you can. And then this next one here is the first time you start to lift off the throttle, and you might touch the brake a little bit, so you have throttle and brake on at the same time. And you're still in 8th, you're still in 8th. Again, here you can take most of the curb on the inside. Again, try and stay left if you can. And then now here, brake a little bit harder, lift off the throttle completely for a really short time, downshift into 6th gear, bang, bang. And then, again, you're like, you have to get on the power as soon as possible. So even before the corner, you start feeding in the...
My goodness. My goodness.
Throttle again carefully. And then you try and hold it, and as soon as you can, flat out. And again, you kind of have to pray, am I going to make it or am I going to run on the road? Because it tightens up again, and you need to use all the exit here. So you use all the exit curb, run up there, even though it gets really uncomfortable, but you just have to stay on the curb and have to stay flat out, and then hit the DRS as well as soon as you can. Again, open up. Don't scrub the speed from the car, so let the car flow, open up onto the back straight. You're on DRS now. This is the longest straight of the track. So just do a direct line to the braking point, so you don't have to do unnecessary scrubbing. Okay, this corner here is difficult. By now, you
this is not a hairpin, right? But it kind of looks like
again, here it's more
a V corner
on the entry. You arrive in 8th gear, and you dive into the corner with a very long braking, diving into the corner here. Downshift to 6th gear, and as soon as you can, again, start feeding in the throttle. Hug the inside. It doesn't matter so much if you're able to touch the curb or you're slightly offset to it, not too sensitive. The exit, again, super difficult because you just can't see it. So you have to go by memory and just hope, okay, hope you don't run on the road. So there's quite a few corners like that. So again, full on throttle,
there's a lot of
hoping. You run it really out here.
This is the thing that's blowing my mind, is he's doing this in-depth track analysis, but some of it he's just kind of alluding to, you know what, you're just hoping. You're just hoping at this rate that everything works out well for that. I'm terrified of that.
To the touching green stuff there. And now you have a really small amount of time. Brake balance forwards, tighten the diff again, because now you're going at slow speed stuff where the rear will be more nervous on the entries. And braking right on the white line at around 80 meters, and you're arriving in 7th, I guess. Then you downshift into 3rd gear, and here again, very tight here. Don't run out too wide because the next one is really important. But since the exit is not so important as usually, because the end of the lap is right after the exit, you can compromise the exit a bit more than usual and run out more here and make the next one tighter.
Oh, the end of the lap is literally right there.
Carry
as
much speed through here because the entry and middle of the corner of the section is more important.
There's a lot of grandstands here. There's a lot of grandstands at this race.
So here again, you can hug the inside curb, and then as flat out as soon as you can. And here it's like super nervous. Huh? You're like all over the place with the rear because you've got big overheating on the rear tires as well by this time. So you're like trying to control the car. You go all the way to the sausage curbs there. Very uncomfortable as you're struggling with traction. But put the power down. You have to put the power down. I mean, you have to be flat by now. There's no other way. Otherwise, you lose a hell of a lot of time. And then upshift 4th gear again. Touch the inside curb. By here, it's easy now. And then just, I don't know, put your head down, and it's the end of the lap. Lap time done. So I hope that was interesting. That's how to do a special Silverstone lap time.
Honestly, That was really interesting because he just goes so in depth. Like he touches every little detail of the race and like every little aspect that you want to get into or that you like could think about without sort of explaining why. Like he knows that, which he knows that from years of experience driving F1 cars. But like it's not something we would know off the top of our head unless we're playing the game vividly every single day. So I think that's also super, super sick. But yeah, hot lap, hot lap. Just to see it sort of go in real time. With that shift down like that, that's nuts. Holy hell. I don't get how they're doing this. You can only see him in his boxers and just feet.
Hau ich noch den falschen Knopf. Falschen Knopf.
And then tight in the corner, run up the little sausage curve like he said. And then you're taking it as tight as you can to finish the lap. That was not rusty at all. That was sick. That was so sick. Okay, we are going to skip the Q&A session because Nico, he probably just goes deeply in depth with stuff that he had last video. But okay, let me know what you guys thought about the Silverstone F1 track. That was a blast. That was an absolute blast. But I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. And let me know if you guys want to, well, I mean, we already did the Silverstone circuit guide, but maybe we'll go back and take a look at it. But yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys for qualifying. Hopefully we will see you guys for the race. Have an amazing, if you're from Canada, hope you are having, I mean, the day after, hope you had a great Canadian Independence Day. If you're in America, hope you have a great July 4th. And can't wait to see you guys for the British Grand Prix. Peace.